Good morning, I am Jason Ellis and this is Tech Avail News. Today is Tuesday, March 16th, and here are your news stories from yesterday to know going into your workday today. It looks like a pattern is properly starting to form itself. The early ratings for the Grammys telecast is showing a 60% drop of viewership from last year's numbers. This is the exact same number of the early ratings for the Golden Globes. So ABC should be pretty concerned for the upcoming Oscar telecast. And I think the Hollywood Reporter yesterday had a really nice article going, there needs to be something to change. Essentially, the Oscars telecast has been dropping consistently. All the award shows have been dropping consistently. And it's really because a lot of projects that are being nominated are not known, especially for the Oscars. I think it's been about 8 years of a pattern that people keep on going, what are these movies? Yes, they are great. I'm not here to criticize the projects themselves. I think they're very good. I'm here to kind of just talk about going, if you want to raise a viewership for your telecast, you need the voting body to vote for bigger movies and bigger stars to attract viewership. No one's going to be tuning in, unfortunately, for independent films, as they should be watching, because of course they're great. I'm a big fan of The Father. I'm so happy it got its 6 nominations, but unfortunately, no one really knows what that project is. They should. It's great. The directing's great. But this is now a pattern of the past years of Oscar nominations, and people are going, well, I wonder why people are tuning in. It's a very simple answer. Big movies do deserve nominations. You look at Gladiator, Lord of the Rings, Braveheart. They're all Oscar-winning Best Pictures, and you haven't seen any of these big blockbusters get nominated or win recent years, and I don't think the quality has dropped. So, not here to pick on it, but just thinking of a business perspective, going, if ABC and other networks are wanting to continue telecasting the Oscars, which they will, of course they will, something needs to change in the voting body. And yes, the diversity angle, and I love all these new firsts this year, Chloe Zhao, Riz Ahmed, and Stephen Yeun, and showing new voices. But it'd be great for these new voices and new nominees to also be seen by the masses. That's the point. Continuing with the Oscars, it is going to look very different this year for attendees because of the pandemic, of course. This year, they are only allowing presenters, nominees, and their guests to attend in person. Everything else has essentially been canceled. The governor's ball is not happening. Parties aren't happening, which for us in the industry kind of sucks, especially for people who are not LA based. Award season is a great time for New York, London, Canada to come to LA and do a proper round of networking. Actors, producers, executives. So it is a hit to that. Yes, we've all been making it fine during this pandemic. Zoom has been a great help, but it is different when you're in a party atmosphere and you're able to meet so many people in such a limited amount of time and have a easy talking point in networking terms, because everyone goes, oh yeah, we watched the Oscars, it's great. So it is a little unfortunate that people are not going to be able to attend in person, but safety first, obviously. No reason to rush, no reason to get everyone sick. So just a change up of what's happening for the Oscars this year. I'm going to talk once again about another award show, but I do think this is one to really pay attention to because it's fantastic and an amazing show of camaraderie and the need to move forward. Publicists have essentially threatened the HFPA that they would highly recommend that their big A-listers to not attend the Golden Globes unless the controversy around the HFPA is discussed. And the controversy is about the lack of Black representation in their voting body. I'm pretty certain they said 0 Black voices are in their voting body. So the HFPA has today announced that they are going to raise their membership level up to 100 members, and that is going to include, at the very least, 13% Black represented voices. So Black journalists will now be able to be a part of the voting body. Okay, enough with the award show news. Now back to some other news. Something I think is very, very unique and very future thinking. A3 Artist Agency have announced that they are creating a uh, NFT task force essentially for their clients. And if you're not sure, if you're not aware what an NFT is, it means non fungible token. This is essentially a form of, it's not cryptocurrency, but it's a crypto segment. It's almost as if you are trading either a unique piece of art or a trading card that is purely digital. So these digital resources have a unique crypto signature to them that's making it unique. So essentially it's going, if you're shopping a Van Gogh painting in the real life, there's only one. So the artist in the digital version can make only one that is part of the crypto blockchain saying, this is my original piece. You're going to buy it as a digital form. So this is becoming a pretty big gold mine where, Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, has auctioned off his very first tweet ever for $2.5 million. A digital artist, I believe his name is Beeple, had the biggest sale of all time at $69 million for his artwork that actually combined all of his digital artwork into one really cool looking piece, but he only made essentially just saying $100 on his past artwork. So seeing a $69 million sell is pretty insane. So what that means for Hollywood though is people are going to start taking clips of themselves, photos of themselves, and make these unique signatures that create a value behind these pieces. It's essentially making works of art to have, dealerships, auction houses auction off. So Rob Gronkowski, from the NFL, has been auctioning off highlight clips. Believe they're like 30-second, GIFs essentially of his highlights from the past years. So this is, I think he sold one for like $1 million. The question that's going to start coming up, and I think A3 is going to need to figure this out, is who owns these clips? Who owns these photos? There was an announcement yesterday that a artist was auctioning off other people's artwork via NFTs, giving them credit, but not asking them for permission to do so. Yes, artists who found out about this, he's taken them off his auction site, but the question is who actually owns these? Is the person who makes the crypto signature to attach to these pieces of work, and then now it's theirs because why not, I guess. But I think when it comes to Hollywood and our industry, it's if it is a clip from a movie or a TV show, can you do that? Will Disney or Netflix or whoever give you permission to make millions of dollars off of their product? So it's a wild frontier in NFTs. It's very early on. I think people are still trying to figure out what the hell these are, but it has now created a new source of high level investing and different ways for millionaires and billionaires to essentially put their money in something that is potentially valuable, maybe fall apart, but it kind of takes it out of their liquid money assets. So interesting. I think A3 is very cool by doing this as a new thing, but it's definitely very something for us to watch and see what upcoming lawsuits will happen because of this, essentially. Because when you sign a contract to star in a movie, that ain't you anymore. That's a character. So very curious, but NFTs are here to stay from what I can tell, and it's something to learn about, even more. The Cannes Film Festival is on track to be in person this year. They are bringing Spike Lee back as jury president. He was supposed to be in that position in 2020, so now they're honoring him again to be in 2021. That said, this is all up in the air. Who knows what's going to happen with the pandemic, but the Cannes Film Festival is trying to move forward to have it be in person once again. In other news, BBC America has announced that their hit show Killing Eve is coming to an end with their fourth and final season. It's Jodie Comer, Sandra Oh. It's an awesome show. If you haven't watched it, it's a great one to binge and really get to. Very smart, very well executed, which is why it makes sense that BBC America is now looking into making potential spin-off series. This universe has been clearly created, so there is very natural ways for them to make spin-off series with or without Jodie Comer and Sandra Oh. So curious to see how that pans out. In attachment news, Damian Bashir has signed on for the remake of the remake of the remake of Let the Right One In. This is a now greenlit pilot for Showtime that Andrew Hindraker is going to be showrunning. He created away for Netflix. Why are they doing this? I don't know. I love the original Swedish movie, Let the Right One In. It was great. Even the American version, Let Me In, was very good. But there has to be other vampire stories out there that you don't need to remake as a TV version. And this was actually already a failed pilot, not this iteration, but it was already a failed pilot a couple of years ago. So it's not the first time that someone tried to make this into a TV series. It's kind of going, why? I love Damian Bashir. I think Showtime is great products. And I don't see this being a bad show. It's just more of going, why are we doing another remake of a remake of a remake that came out 15 years ago? It's not old. It's not an old title. So little interesting to say the least. And more pilot attachment news, the Wonder Years reboot has found their young lead in Alicia E.J. Williams. This is a reboot, yes. I think unlike Let the Right One In, this is actually a very good script. It is taking place in 1960s, just as the original Wonder Years did, but is centering on a black family in Montgomery, Alabama. And after reading the pilot, it's good. And I also love on top of it that Fred Savage, who played the original little boy in the Wonder Years, is coming back to direct the pilot episode. So essentially, it has the blessing of the original for the reboot, which I think is great and I think I love. And also the fact that the Wonder Years is from the 80s. It is a good moment to reboot something like this and talk about a different aspect during during the same time. So congrats to EJ for getting this role. Obviously, he'll become more of a name value because of that. So those are top headlines from yesterday that you should know going into today's workday. I am Jason Ellis. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and I will see you tomorrow morning. See you later.